is Monica from Huckleberry Mountain Botanical School of Herbalism. I'm here with
Lindy.
Oh my,
It's Monica and Lindy.
yeah,
It's okay.
we're gonna work it out, and it's gonna be a great introduction. Okay, so while Lindy gets us set up over on the Prepared Homestead, I'll talk to you a little bit about what we're going to do today. So first of all, sorry that we had to miss yesterday. It was through no fault of our own or our internet provider. Apparently
A construction
crew
cut
all the cables
that give them their bandwidth. So basically,
Yes.
every single person who depended on the entire company
was out of
out of
internet. And they even lost their own phones.
which is the equivalent to losing like water
No, honey.
to the 21st century.
I'm sorry, but losing water is
It's not actually this. I'm not
Losing
saying
internet's
it's
terrible.
I'm saying that to the 21st century people,
Until they lived without water, and then they'd be like, okay, yeah,
well,
it's not the same.
yeah, it's obviously not the same. I'm just saying,
We're
like,
just-
to the 21st century people, it seems like a really, really, really big deal. You
Well,
know,
it seemed like a really big deal
things
to me
stop
too.
functioning.
I had a hard time, and then it was a matter of
Question
fact.
the meaning of life.
Yesterday, I was actually getting ready for the live, even though I knew we didn't have internet, and I'm laying everything out, and then I was like, wait a minute, we don't have internet. How are we even going to do a live? This is ridiculous. So here we are tonight. We have internet, and we are going to do this. So we're making two things tonight. One is our Oregon Grape Syrup, which was our original for tonight. And then the other one is going to be our dill dip. This stuff is awesome, and you want to make this. It's super, super, super easy. And what's awesome about it is that you can just take it, throw it in some sour cream or some Greek yogurt, and have a really awesome dip ready if company comes last minute.
Yeah, I love dill dip.
It's so good. It makes the best dip for all kinds of chips and all kinds of vegetables. It's amazingly wonderful.
Especially potato chips.
Yes, ruffly potato chips, I would say. All right, but I'm going to start with the Oregon grape because it's a syrup, and so it is going to take a little bit longer to prepare. I've started out already putting the 2 cups of berries in with a 1/4 cup of water, and I brought them to a simmer. Well, more like a boil, and I kind of allowed them to boil for a couple of minutes so they could soften, and it's not that they started popping open like cranberries do, but they definitely started releasing some of their juices, and I'll go ahead and show that to you. Releasing some of their juices, and so what we're going to do now that they've done that is I'm going to take my potato masher, and they're nice and soft.
And you're going to do the monster mash.
I'm going to do the monster mash, and we're going to just mash these things up, because you have to remember that each one of these berries has a seed, and you don't want the seeds, but you do want the juice. So let's talk about Oregon grape a little bit. This is going to be the berries. This is not the bark or the leaf or the root. However, let's talk about identification here. I want you to look at these leaves. They are so pokey. It's painful.
Like, watch this. Ow.
You don't understand what you're doing. Watch this. Ow. You could say that about like anything. Oh my gosh,
Like,
you're hilarious.
Ow. Okay,
that was for reals. All right. So they really are painful. When I was pulling off the berries earlier today, I was having to dig through some of the leaves, and it hurt. It actually genuinely hurt.
You gotta put a full body glove on.
Full body glove? Well, isn't that like a, okay, anyway, I won't say it. All right, so these look almost like holly leaves, and then they've got these nice berries. These berries are they edible?
Super tart.
They're edible. Now, they are really tart. I don't mind them at all. Some of them, though, are better than others. Some of them are more astringent. Some of them tend to be a little sweeter, sour. Some are more astringent, sour. So
The seeds are bitter.
Well, yeah, don't chew the seeds.
Oh.
We're removing the seeds. But you can test out your berries before you pick them. This just, we have huge, they're the tall Oregon grape.
Hi, this is Valerie.
So I know what ours tastes like, and I'll just go out and pick them. They're also very, very high in pectin, which makes it much easier to make jams and jellies.
Yeah, I actually have a story when we first moved here.
Yeah.
We moved here in August. In fact, yesterday,
5 years ago.
5-year anniversary of
Happy
moving
anniversary.
here.
Woo!
Woo! I did shudder because it was horrifying. Yes. The Oregon Grape experience.
Yes.
Anyway, so when we first moved here, they were obviously kind of like at their peak, and so I went out and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a homesteader, and I gathered a bunch of Oregon grape, and
she was gonna make jelly.
I just kind of like, I looked up a recipe. I looked up a recipe for Oregon grape berries, and it included adding pectin. I read that it contained a lot of pectin, but I just followed the recipe, and I've never made jam or anything before, so I think I boiled it too long. Because, you know, you have the sugar.
Yeah, she boiled it too long.
Along with the pectin and then the natural pectin that's in the Oregon grape berries. So I boiled it too long, and
she didn't know this until
I didn't know it until after
day.
I put it in the jar and I let it fully cool. And then
she had left a spoon in it, by the way.
I had left a spoon in it. And then I went to pick up the spoon, and the whole jar just lifted with it. And I was like,
it had turned into a Jolly Rancher.
Literally,
a giant Jolly Rancher.
Jolly Rancher. Like, I could have shattered it. We used it as decoration. We put a little candle in the jar, and it was like purple decoration in the jar with a little tea candle in it.
It was hilarious.
And it was pretty. The best part is the entire time I was filming a tutorial. So I have all of this on video.
So funny.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I realized I have never attempted to make a jelly or a jam since.
Oh, wow.
That was my first and only attempt. I think
it intimidated
my
you.
subconscious mind is like protecting me from the sting of failure.
Oh,
again.
You're funny.
Yeah.
So we're going to just kind of press the juices out here, and then we're going to be adding the sugar and getting it going again. I might add a little bit of extra water because this seems like it's really thick juice, and I don't want it to be too thick. So, okay, in the meantime, let's go ahead and make this dill dip while I'm doing this. We're going to be passing the instructions here. Oh, and these berries are really high in antioxidants and really high in vitamin C. So great, a great syrup or jelly or whatever. And you can do it without sugar. You can do it with honey, but it's not going to be that thick syrup. So if you want thick syrup, use sugar. If you don't care, use honey. That's perfectly fine. All right, so here, Lindy is going to start this.
I'm going to start powdering everything. These are minced onions.
Minced-dried onions, yeah. And you do want everything to be powdered. The recipe is according to tablespoons, and with those tablespoons, that is powdered herb, not chunky.
Yeah.
And this recipe will be on our free content for at least the next week or so. And then after that,
Smells nice.
I think it's going to go on the
Wait,
blog.
this is the bowl, right?
Wait. You have to put it back in here.
Oh, put it back in.
Because you got to measure it.
Oh, yes. Measuring that thing.
Yes. It is important with this to measure, because you're not being able to taste it ahead of time.
Yeah, you want the right flavor profile. So we've tested this out for you. Should I powder the salt?
I powdered the salt.
Okay.
Yes, don't powder all of it, but yeah. Because we only need a tablespoon.
All right. Yeah, so we've tested it and we found the perfect balance.
So follow this recipe, even if you're a fly by the seat of your pants kind of gal.
Or guy. Nothing specific.
Okay. Or guy. That's it. Whoa. We got some thick syrup going on over here. Or juice at this point, I guess. And like people say all the time, it's like you can make anything into a syrup or anything into a jam as long as you add enough sugar.
Yeah, it's true.
Perfectly fine.
Wow, this looks like Okinawa sea salt.
Yeah, it's very
That
fine.
was Okinawan sea salt is what something in the world. It's the most something.
The highest mineral content of any salt in the world.
That.
Yeah. Wonderful salt. Amazing. And it's very fine.
I'm just going to make sure we're not missing anything.
No, we're not missing anything.
Okay.
Valerie, have you tried to use Oregon grape before in any of your recipes?
Good question. If you haven't, you should.
Yeah, because even the jam or the jelly is quite tasty if you don't turn it into a Jolly Rancher. That's probably good.
Yeah. And here's the dill.
You know what's interesting?
Yummy,
Even
yummy.
though this is a dill spice blend, we actually use more parsley. You'll have to put a little bit of parsley in at a time. More parsley than we do dill. But it really brings out that flavor.
Why, do they complement each other well?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They do.
Sorry.
Let me get another container here.
Oh, and this is our herb only grinder here. So if you want to be able to grind herbs easily, don't
Inhale.
don't mix it with your coffee grinder. Okay, she says, I haven't used it in recipes. We used to eat them as a snack.
Well, yeah, you know, one of my apprentices, her brother was over, and he didn't realize that I could see him outside my office, which is where all the Oregon grape is. And I was sitting there and watching him, and he was just like munching on the Oregon grapes.
Oh, hi, Kim.
Yeah.
I've used a lot of other wild berries in Danish and pie, but the Oregon grape is too gritty. Oh. I guess that
Well,
makes
it would
sense.
be unless you made it more into like a jelly rather than a jam.
That's true. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking forward to be able to get your pastries at our local store.
Oh, yes.
I heard through the grapevine.
Through the Oregon grapevine.
Oh!
Ridiculous. Okay.
Spent some time this afternoon wandering around in the woods near our house collecting Oregon grapes just for this recipe. That's from Kim. Okay, Kim, you're going to make it for us. Can you see that powder every time I open it? It's so cool.
I hope you tasted the grapes, Kim, to make sure that for the berries, make sure they're tasty.
Why?
Well, because they really can differ from one plant to the next.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're okay. I did add another 1/4 cup of water. And what I did is ran it through the berries that I just mashed. I just ran it through the filter, through the sieve.
Oh, to get all the juices. So essentially you take that pulp and rinsing it with water and
I just put a 1/4 cup.
Tiny bit, 1/4 cup.
Yeah.
And why did you do that?
Because it was really thick already. Like I said, it's super high in pectin. So why are you sticking your nose in things?
I don't know. Because it smells good. Oh, Lindy's just painful. Okay. So now,
What are you looking for?
measuring.
Tablespoons?
Yep.
Okay, guys, real quick, while she's looking for the measuring spoon, I've got all my juice in here. I'm going to add my cup of sugar because, yes, it does need that sweetness. And I'm going to simmer this for about 10 minutes. So until I really like the consistency and until that sugar is totally melted, and that will start thickening it up and turning it more into that syrup that you like, that we're looking for here. I don't know where it is. A tablespoon?
Mm-hmm. I'll just use this.
I just used it earlier. You'd think to be more prepared with our tools. I thought we had our tools set out, ready to go. See, this is the problem is I was making some herbal goodies earlier today, and I was using all my tools, and so the place was a little bit of a mess.
All right, I got it.
All right.
All right, so we're going to do 3 tablespoons of ground dill. Oh, that's not going to be enough. Maybe it will. You never know. All right, so 1. And
there's only 2. All right, go ahead and just do the parsley, and I'll get more dill.
Okay. And then 7 tablespoons of parsley.
Doesn't look like there's going to be enough parsley.
There's going to be enough parsley. 1, 2. Wait a second. Some kind of, it's like, it's a rock. Plastic? Did that break off of that?
Oh, it might have. Did you break it? Go ahead. Oh, yeah, it did. Go ahead.
3, 4, 5. We can do this.
Looks like there's only 6.
6. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we got 6, and we got.
Need 1 more of this, 1 more of that.
1 more. Okay, so 1 more of dill. It's all gonna be fine. 7 tablespoons of dried onion. See, that's not gonna. I don't think this is gonna cut it. All right. So 3 tablespoons of dill. So far 6 of parsley, but ultimately you're supposed to have 7. Now 7 tablespoons of onion flakes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we need 1 more of onions.
Okay.
And then 1 tablespoon of salt.
This is what we were bumping into on Saturday because we were making spice blends with my students that day. And it was just amazing how much, a tablespoon of something shrunk down once you ground it, which is why it's important to grind it first, because it really is a different measurement. So grind first.
Is it really flat? Oh, the tablespoon, it is quite flat. Yes, it's quite shallow.
Oh yeah, it's kind of
but
fat.
It's fat and flat.
Fat and flat.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very attractive.
It's because it's not.
All right. There we go.
All right, so we've got everything.
Everything's in there.
All right. And now you mix, and that is it.
Gonna mix it really well and keep it in, an airtight container because it will lose its flavor over time.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, we've had stuff for several years and it's kept just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just keeping ours in here. So now we have another batch to add to it. And we just put our label on there, Dill Dip. And you could even label it more because you'll need about 1.5 tablespoons per cup of sour cream or Greek yogurt. Mm-hmm. However, that's when you get to be a little creative. You can add more if you want to, and especially if you're going to use it on things like pasta or you're going to use it on potatoes. It tastes nice if you add a little bit extra flavor because the potatoes are so plain. We did that last night. Mm-hmm. We had dill dip in sour cream and put that on baked potatoes with our cheese and chives and our bacon that we.
I gotta stop.
What do you, okay.
The powder.
All right, so we're gonna get this, and we will.
Hi, Lisa.
And we'll put it in here.
And again, this is so good on pretty much anything.
So many
but
ways that you can
especially
use
my
it.
favorite way is in sour cream. Make a nice flavorful dip-like thing, and potato chips.
Yeah, and if you give it at least 30 minutes, it will at least incorporate in there. The other thing that you could add to this if you want to is some sort of thickening agent. And guar gum or xanthan gum are two options that you could do that would help to thicken maybe a Greek yogurt or even a thinner yogurt if that's all you had. So that's an option there as well.
Yeah.
Super simple dill dip. And now I'm simmering my berries. I'm going to have to simmer them probably longer than I can do this live.
Yeah. So about how long?
I'm going to be simmering it probably 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's going to reach a certain consistency probably where you would.
Yeah, it's going to be not as syrupy, not as thick as I would want, because if I go there, as it cools, it's actually going to thicken a little more.
Which is what happened to me several years ago, where I think it, and I was like, okay, so it's like pretty close to a jam, which meant when it cooled, it was a hard candy. So what I did actually to recover, I remember this now, I got Oregon grapes again, and I deliberately made hard candies just to be like, well, I meant to. That's what I was trying to do anyway. So
that's what I was trying to do.
And I actually made my own recipe, and it turned out really well. So,
okay. So what I'm going to do with the Oregon grape syrup, which you do not have to do. Where did you find?
Over the jar funnel. Probably the purple one because it's really nice.
Oh, this one. I got this in the canning department. I think it probably Walmart, and it came in a little kit. So it's got the grasper and the jar lifter. And this, and I want to say it came with a headspace measure and stuff like that. I got this years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this one. We have another one too, but it goes on the inside. This one hugs the outside.
Plus, it's got that, so it's smaller. And so it can go on really small jars. It can fit on big jars. It can go inside gallon size. So it can do gallon, half gallon, and then small little ones there, and it stays secure, and it's really, really nice.
It is. It's like my favorite one that I've ever had. And we have another one. Well, we had a couple more, but I got rid of one of them, and the other one is okay, but I keep it because sometimes I have a lot of people come over and we all need funnels. What was I going to say? Oh, after the syrup is where I want it to be, I'm going to add a little bit of lavender flower and a little bit of rose petals. And then I'm going to cover it and let it cool. With those in there, then I'll strain them out and then bottle it, and it'll be done. So it'll have that little bit of flavor of the lavender and the rose, which will really bring that flavor profile together nicely.
Plus, it's all stuff that you can harvest. You can just grab it out of the yard, chuck it together with some sugar, and it's good.
Yeah, and the other thing is that rose petals are so good for calming your heart, your emotional heart, your physical heart. And then you have the addition of the lavender, which is really soothing and calming. And oh my gosh, you have a beautiful combination there.
Yeah, so you'll get some calming effects. I think that all of us could probably use that. Just deep breaths. So yeah.
But if either one of those are things that you don't like, you can't do lavender, or you really, I don't know why you wouldn't like rose petals. They're so mild. Oh, speaking of that, I made the best mix today that I'll have to share with you guys. Again, I used it on our pot roast, and it was very basic, 3 ingredients, and includes rose petals. A wonderful spice that we used on the pot roast.
You'll never believe what it is. Stay tuned. No, I'm joking. Tell them.
Come next time.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was really great, and probably one of the best tasting gravies I've had in a long time, because I took all the juices from the meat and the spices that I used. I didn't add anything else in there. No onions, no carrots, no celery, nothing. Just the meat and these spices and a little bit of salt. And I took that, and the gravy was absolutely amazing. So I will share that spice combination with you in a future one. But
you're really not going to tell?
It's a mystery. You have to come back.
Clickbait.
We want to see you back. Okay, so I think that we are done. The Oregon grape syrup could really be used for anything, from drinks to pancakes to using it in, I don't know, smoothies or anything like that. Yeah, and Valerie, if you use it for something
beautiful,
bakery-ish, let us know. Post a picture, tag us. We'd love to see it. And Kim, if you make it, tell us. We want to see it too. I'm excited that people are getting out there and gathering stuff and making this stuff with us. That's like the best ever. That's our goal, is just to make herbal things and foraging accessible to everybody.
Yes.
So
it can be an everyday herbal. herbalist.
Everyday herbalist. Okay, so I think that is it. And we will be back definitely tomorrow to see you and
Lord willing, apparently.
Lord willing, internet willing. On Thursday, though, I think we're going to be using this Oregon grape syrup, if I'm remembering right, for a beverage that I kind of created. We'll see how it turns out. We'll see how it turns out. All right, until next time, health and joy.
Bye.